we're going to take a look at 6 different things you can look for that will help identify an AI-generated podcast. And we're going to start this one off with a little bit of the backstory. I re-uploaded some audio that was supposedly a talk given by none other than Carl Jung. And the message there resonated with me, and it fooled me. I got suckered in. That launched me on a quest to find ways to identify AI-generated content. I guess we could use a nice word for it. This brings us to the first thing you can look for to help identify AI-generated content. So let's give a listen to the following clip and see if you can spot it.
Older than any culture, older even than speech, highly sensitive persons, those whom modern psychology abbreviates as HSPs, are born with their inner microphones set perilously close to that shoreline.
Now, that little comment on HSPs, or highly sensitive persons, caught my attention. And I did a little bit of research on it, and this is what I found. The term highly sensitive person came into use in the early 1990s, and Carl Jung died in 1961. So clearly, this isn't Carl Jung speaking. This is an AI version of Carl Jung. It seems that AI doesn't have a very good grasp of the concept of time, something that we humans grasp quite naturally. Number 2 on the list is what I like to call word salad. Consider the following clip. This comes from an AI-generated podcast on spiritual warfare.
When it comes to spiritual warfare, there are 7 essential keys to achieving victory, and they can all be found within the armor of God. Many people associate this armor with simple illustrations from children's ministry.
Many people associate this armor with simple illustrations from children's ministry. What the does that mean? That is what I call word salad. In my research, I've run across a few extreme examples of word salad, and this is something I have to share because this is the sort of stuff that I think only the developers of AI would see on a common basis. But you've got to witness this for yourself. You've got to hear this for yourself. Here goes.
Here's the truth science reveals. Your brain can adapt. It can rewire itself. It can evolve. Every time you practice a new habit, think a new thought, or respond differently to an old trigger, you build new neural pathways. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity. Sordian did qua ben dam ben so the billed one dense the offshore ben gore your was kurt but return sorti did I on the insend restand to reshape itself through repetition and emotion. You're not trapped in who you were. You're only repeating what you've practiced. And that means you can practice something new.
I love that little drum roll at the end. Now the next clip is from the same transmission, but it's even weirder than the previous. And here goes.
Instinctive reactions such as aggression, territoriality, and avoidance of perceived threats. This part of the brain drives automatic behaviors without thinking about them. So it's when faced with disruption, whether it's a new technology, role, or process, this part of the brain instinctively resists. It interprets change as a threat, triggering fear, defensiveness, or disengagement.
Now, I did an analysis of that audio, and I found that over 95% of it was absolutely coherent. But there was that small percentage where the AI just kind of wigged out. And so you've got to wonder, for example, there's a lot of talk these days about using AI in medicine. What happens if you happen to be visiting your AI doctor and it just wigs out, because it does that small percentage of the time? What's going to result? It's a little bit frightening, I think. Number 3 on my list is, I think, what we could call really crappy sound editing. And I'm talking about abrupt changes, whether it's a transition from one concept to another, or even the ending of a podcast. Consider the following example.
Begin awakening what is finally ready to remember. Are you ready to lay down the martyr's robe and rise as the oracle you have always been? Then breathe, feel, witness, and begin.
And that is how a 45-minute audio track of supposed Carl Jung ended. Just give that one more quick listen, the very ending.
Feel, witness, and begin.
Now, number 4 on the list is an odd one. It is odd, but I've seen it now in a few different places. And this is an invitation to leave a comment. And sometimes it's just an invitation to leave a comment. Other times it's leave a comment with a certain code word in it. Here's an example. This is a talk supposedly given by David Icke. It's, again, for content, it's fairly well done. But I've never seen a David Icke video where he's done this. He might mention his website or promote his latest book or something like that, but he'd never do something like the following.
Why can't you put your phone down? Think about it. A device that didn't even exist a few decades ago has now become the most important object in your life. You wake up and it's the first thing you touch. You go to bed and it's the last thing you look at. It's no longer a tool, it's an addiction, a leash, a form of control. And the truth is, it's designed that way. Let me ask you something right now. Do you believe you are in control of your phone, or is your phone in control of you? Be honest with yourself. I want you to share your answer in the comments below, because your honesty might just wake someone else up.
And here is an AI-generated version of Elon Musk doing the same damn thing.
Share this message with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's glued to their phone, someone who seems anxious and distracted all the time, someone who's being consumed by technology without realizing it. And drop a comment telling me, are you ready to take back control? Will you delete the apps? Will you create boundaries? Will you fight the programming? Because I need to know there are people who understand what's happening and are willing to do something about it.
So the AI would like to have you think that Elon Musk is going to read the comments on some audio that he posted. I don't think so. I think he's probably got better things to do with his time. But there it is. So that, again, is an oddity. It's almost as though the AI is looking to identify people who think in a certain independent fashion, and it's maybe trying to develop a short list. I mean, that's just speculation, but it's not one that I can discard or throw away. It's in the realm of possibility. So that's number 4. Leave a comment with a code word, or just leave a comment in general. That invitation. Now, number 5 and number 6 are the most powerful methods to discern AI-generated content. Number 5 on the list is it's too perfect. The human mouth makes little clicks and pops as we speak, and the vast majority of AI-generated content does not have this characteristic. Now, I have seen something recently out of Google, which it was a video, but those little clicks and pops were in there. So it's an emerging technology, and it is developing this capacity. The other thing, apart from the clicks and pops, is that people breathe. And AI doesn't breathe. So that's number 5 on the list. And if you go back over the clips that I've brought out as examples, you'll notice that. Now, the single most powerful method to discern AI-generated content is the complete lack of emotionality and emotional expression. And when I mention emotionality, I don't mean extreme emotion. I'm talking about subtle emotions. And to give you a sense of this, we're going to play a short clip of the real Carl Jung. This is from an archived recording. And we're going to put the AI-generated Carl Jung right next to it. And then we're going to flip it back and forth a few times. And you'll discover, if you go through this exercise, you can spot the sound of an AI-generated voice quite easily. So tune up your ear and listen. Can you hear the subtlety of emotional expression in the real Carl Jung that simply does not exist in the AI-generated fake Carl Jung?
It is a sort of finesse almost when you find out that somebody has a power drive, you know, and where sex only serves the purpose of power. For instance, a charming man, you know, all women think he's the real hero of all hearts. He's a power devil. Like a Don Juan, you know. The woman is not his problem. His problem is how to dominate.
At night, she dreamed she was standing in an ancient cathedral made of glass. Every whispered footstep echoed across the miles of vaulted mirror. Then a single pebble struck the glass, and the entire nave trembled. She awoke in a panic, certain she would shatter.
I will tell you a little story. I had two patients. The man was a sensation type, and the woman was an intuitive type. Of course, they felt attraction. And so they took a little boat and went out to the lake of Zurich. And there were those birds that dive after fish, you know. Yeah. And then after a certain time they come up again, and you can't tell where they come up. And so they began to bet who first was the first to see the bird. Now, you would think that the one who observes reality very carefully, the sensation type, would of course win out. Yeah. Not at all. The woman won the bet completely. Yeah. She was beating him on all points. Yeah. Because by intuition she knew it before.
I see.
Now, how is that possible?
In analysis, we discovered that the cathedral was her sensitivity, transparent, magnificent, capable of reflecting every ray of light, yet vulnerable to the smallest impact, because her psychic walls were brittle, unsupported by buttresses of self-understanding. She had spent her life apologizing for the echo, instead of strengthening the pillars. How does one strengthen psychic pillars?
So my definition is, intuition is a perception by ways or means of the unconscious. Yes. That is as near as I can get. Now this is a very important function, because when you live under primitive conditions, a lot of unpredictable things are likely to happen. Yes. And there you need your intuition, because you cannot possibly tell by your perceptions, by your sense perceptions, what there is going to happen. For instance, you are traveling in primeval forest. You only see for a few steps ahead. Mm-hmm. You go by the compass, perhaps, and you don't know what there is ahead. It is uncharted country. If you use your intuition, then you have hunches. And when you live under such primitive conditions, you instantly are aware of hunches. For instance, there are places that are favorable, there are places that are not favorable. You can't tell for your life what it is. Yeah. But you better follow these hunches.
I think if you listen to AI-generated content and real human-generated content, and you compare them side by side, like I did there, your ear can pick up on what it is you're listening to, whether it's real or fake. And yes, the technology is advancing, and they're working hard to create better, more convincing fakes. Which leads me to the conclusion of this episode. You see, I think there are positive uses for AI, but you have to wonder, so much energy is going into creating deception, trying to cash in on a famous name, trying to gain popularity using the voice of a famous character, and creating a fake content. That's not just deceptive, it's fraudulent. And when it comes to real living people and creating content in their likeness, that's identity theft. It should be against the law. It certainly is against natural law. So we see fraud, deception, identity theft. Oh, and let's not forget, AI-generated porn is a multi-million-dollar business already. We have deep fakes. Again, I believe there are some positive uses for AI, but the problem perhaps is not the technology itself. When you consider the misuse of this technology, what you really have to wonder about are the human beings behind the development and deployment of the technology, because they are showing their moral standards. They're showing their moral standards and trying to cash in on the quickest dollar they can make without any respect for common decency, without any respect for human beings. If they can deceive you and gain your attention and draw your energy and your money and your time, then that appears to be the first place they've gone to with this. And again, that actions speak louder than words, and nothing more than this shows you the moral character of the multi-billion-dollar AI industry, who's guiding it and where it's going. And that's the thought I'm going to leave you with. You've been listening to the This Light Shines podcast. Do check out our website, thislightshines.net. Thank you for listening, and as always, God bless.